Okay. I think we are good to go. Okay. Looks like I'm live. Alright. Yep, I think we're good to go. Let me just get my little file set up, or my request set up, and then go ahead and get started. So let's see here. Go to start, go to Patron Requests, and anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, so this is Miguel Zavala, aka mz4250, and I'm going to be working on some patron requests today. My goal for this stream is to at least complete 2 requests, and then go ahead and take care of some personal projects, and then if I'm lucky, come back again later this afternoon. So we'll see what happens and what I can accomplish. Anyway, I hope I sound okay, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So, the first patron request is a fat, boisterous, tiefling barkeep. Now, I already have a barkeep model, obviously, but obviously this head is not what I envision a barkeep to look like. So what I'm going to work on is I'm going to make a tiefling head, and I'm going to go ahead and just remove this head here, create a new tiefling head, and, you know, just go from there. So let's go ahead and work on this tiefling fella. So first things first that we're going to do is, obviously, we need to get rid of this head. So we're going to go ahead and go over here. We're just going to go ahead and just remove this this fella here. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. After we remove this head, I'm going to import a base head model, which is really nothing too special. And then we're going to work from there. So let's go ahead and now grab one of my head models, and we're going to go ahead and, you know, just work from there. So, in case any of you don't know, I am a furloughed government employee, currently affected by the shutdown. So I'm going to be doing 3D art until I can get back to work. Anyway, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a head, just a standard head. I'm going to save this as in my Appendix B commenter folder. I'm just going to save it as Tiefling Barkeep. Alrighty. Now, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a head. Yeah, good morning, kitty. One of my cats just meowed. That's very cute. Uh-huh. Human male head. I guess I can start with a human male head. Yeah, so that's a pretty generic looking head right there. So let me just grab that real fast, and then we'll go back over to Tiefling Barkeep. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and install this head, and then we're going to work on it from there. Obviously, this head is way too small, which is fine. Okay, that looks about right. Now we're just going to have to go ahead and get rid of this neck. And the next thing we need to work on is the facial features. Now, I'm not going to install this head immediately because I want to possibly use my mirror tool so I can work on some of his other features. Although, actually, I think in this case it won't be necessary to do the mirror tool because there's just some variables in here that I think be fine if it had a little bit of variance when it comes to differences in facial features and such. So never mind. Anyway, so first things first, let's put I'm gonna delete this entire mouth completely, and instead it's gonna be a big open smile, like just a big happy smile, because he said he wanted a boisterous tiefling. So what we're gonna do is, obviously this mouth structure needs to go down if you're gonna have an open mouth, so let's just do that real fast. And then we're gonna go ahead and select this geometry, and we're going to pretty much just delete it. And we're just gonna have a nice big open mouth because it's a big happy boisterous dude. So we're just gonna get rid of that. And obviously, you know, because this is gonna be something that's 3D printed, it's gonna be very, very small. So the level of detail needed for something like this is probably not as crazy if it were to say something that was to be animated or printed in a very large fashion. So the facial features have to be very basic, very, very normal. So actually not normal, but you know, just basically very simplified. It's interesting, I don't know what that was. Anyway, so let's go ahead and continue. So close that. Make that a little bigger. Not sure why there's geometry there. That's different. Anyway. So good morning to everybody who is joining me today. If I'm too loud or I'm not loud enough, just let me know, and I will make adjustments as needed. Anyway, so this is going to be a loud, boisterous guy. Obviously, you have to bring his eyes a little bit closed because he's laughing, smiling, that kind of situation. So let's go ahead and close his eyes down just a little bit. And need to go ahead and add some mask to his face. This is cheekbones, and then need to bring down this geometry because this looks a little silly. And we need some geometry for his teeth. So we're gonna go ahead and get this in there. Move the geometry back just a little bit. And we're not going to make the individual teeth, we're just going to show, you know, where there is geometry for that. And then if his printer is really, really, really good, he can go ahead and maybe see some of that. Now actually, I just remembered, his printer, actually my printer, I just remembered that this is actually a request from a patron, who is in my $25 tier, which means that I am actually going to print this guy. So I need to consider the fact that this is going to be my printer that's going to be making this fella, which should be fine. Anyway, not sure why these eyes look like this, but whatever. Old model, new tricks. this up a lot. Because he's smiling, because he's like, ha 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 ha. Anyway. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring this neck in just a little bit. I still want him to be like a pretty fat dude, but not stupid fat. Alright. I think it's safe to say I can connect this body to this head now, so join. Let's go ahead and mesh, edges, bridge loops. Alright. He's got a fat head. So, this guy is a tiefling, so we're going to add some facial features, obviously, that would define him as such. So I'm going to throw in some of those, you know, those little chin horns that some tieflings have. So we're going to go ahead and just throw that in there. So that. This to be a little different from the other one, but not by much, just slight variance. Okay, and then let's see, hair-wise, I'm thinking just regular hair, nothing really crazy. But obviously, before we even think about hair, we need to go ahead and work on some horn action. So let's go ahead and do that. When it comes to the type of horns, obviously there's a lot of options that I can choose from. Not really sure which horn style I should be going for. Because there's just so many. I could go for the standard devil horn. I could do the horn that's basically a ram head horn. I think the ram head horns are probably the more popular ones, so I'm gonna go with that. So let's go ahead and start making the geometry for the ram head horns. So let me grab that. And basically it's gonna like go up and then around his ears. So we'll just do it that way. So let's go ahead and start working on that. So basically what I'm doing is I'm making one horn, and then I'm gonna go ahead and copy it onto the other side of his head. And then the last thing that I'll do is, you know, add a little bit of hair. Although, I don't know, seems like it would look pretty good, like a bald dude, tiefling and all. And maybe he has short hair or something. I mean, tieflings do have hair. Just, I feel like this barkeep should have like bald head. I don't know. See how I feel when I get there. So for those of you who are signing on today, today is going to be a repeat of yesterday, so I'm going to work on a couple of patron requests. Then I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to go and take care of some personal projects. There's a couple of things I need to paint. And then after that, I'll come back later in the afternoon, and I'll do a couple more requests. Lather, rinse, repeat. And yeah, I'm not sure how long this shutdown's gonna take, but you know, I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing until, you know, I can go back to work. So we'll see what happens. So this guy's ears, I should probably take care of now. So, given these models are very small, usually the most I see when I print ears is just these tiny little bumps. So This is usually the level of detail, the maximum level of detail needed when it comes to ears is just something there, you know. So let me go ahead and put that there. Let me extrude this out right here, like so, and bring this up like so. That's basically all that's needed. Anyway, let's continue working on this horn. So I think maybe a little bit of variance is needed. So I'm gonna round this out right here. Round this out right there. But yeah, it looks like pretty standard devilly, or yeah, goatee type horns. Probably need to make myself some coffee. I'm a little tired. Alright, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of layers of detail to this guy when it comes to the horns. And then I'm going to use the randomize tool. Oh yeah, it's my favorite tool. Makes everything look awesome. Alright, let's go ahead and select all this geometry. The next request after this is going to be, I think, a $10 patron request. I think it's supposed to be like a tree monster or something. So, but I'll see what I get there. And there you go. Very cool. Alright, let's go ahead and select all of these heads, all this geometry. Easy way of doing this right. It's just so much geometry. I'll get there. Might accidentally select some geometry from his ear, but I'm trying to avoid doing that. Alrighty, let's go ahead and duplicate. And should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and reverse the normals. -1, boop. Control N. Now we'll go ahead and move this sucker back in here. And then what I'm going to do is... that was a little too much, actually. That's good enough. And I'm going to delete this geometry here. Oops. Delete faces. And then I'll just connect this geometry. Oh, you know, I just realized I think this head is actually turned slightly to the right. So, oops. Needs to be turned slightly and then brought forward a little, which is fine. Huh. Oops. Mesh, edges, bridge edge loops. Okay. Alright, so those are the horns. Let's go ahead and add just a layer of hair to him. Although I like the idea of him being kind of balding. Actually, I think that's what I'm going to do. He's going to have, you know, he's going to have some hair back here. You know, like in the back of his head. But he's going to have a big island on top. Just a big, bald, ugly island. I just think it would be funny. So let's go ahead and do that real fast. So just grab this geometry for his hair. Do the same over here. Alright. And then we just extrude out. And then, now that that's done, let's go ahead and grab this geometry here, the back of his head, because it looks weird. I'm just going to push it out. I'm going to grow it just a little bit. And that's about all that's really needed. Then we're going to go and, well, first things first, I have some unnecessary lines right here. So let me just get rid of these real fast. There's no need for having that in there. It's strange. Dissolve edges, and then, I mean, that's really all that's needed. It's just, you know, old dude hair. But, I'm gonna experiment. I'm just gonna try something. Just bear with me for a moment. Let me just see what this would look like if I did my little randomized trick with his hair. I don't think it's gonna look right, but like I said, just bear with me for a second. Let's see here. Subdivide, subdivide. Smooth vertex. Randomize, randomize. Nah. Huh. Huh. It's not bad, actually. Yeah, that's funny. Alright, never mind. Okay, I was proven wrong. It actually came out okay. Like, let me just fix this right here now. Okay, cool. Alright, so. Anyway. Alrighty, so next thing is, well, obviously he's a tiefling, so he's gonna need a tail. So let's go inside this dude's booty, and let's go ahead and make a tail real fast. Hold on a second, I got a message. Sorry, my mom was texting me. She's worried about the shutdown. Just telling her, okay, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm gonna be alright. Eh, moms. Anyway, so let's go ahead and make a tail for this tiefling real fast. This tiefling bartender. That doesn't have to be anything too complicated, obviously. Just a tail. That's all it really is. Alright, so let's go ahead and extrude this out. Let's do that. Go to normals and squeeze this thing down like that. go ahead and just extrude. I guess it's just gonna go around his leg like this. So, doom, 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 doom. Alrighty, then gotta add little devilly bits to his tail, so I squeeze that and then make that go out. Then give it a little bit of variance. Just give it like that. Oh, tieflings. Alright, and I think we're pretty good. So there is a tiefling barkeep, not too shabby. So let's go ahead and save this file, and then I'm gonna go ahead and send a message to the patron, let him know, hey, this is what I got for you. So let's go ahead and do that. So actually, let me just fix some things in this model real fast. I just realized there's some things in this geometry that look a little strange. Shouldn't need too many changes. Just gotta fix these elbows. Elbows are very weird with me. I don't know why I do this. Okay, that looks fine. This one looks a little weird. Fix that real fast. I always have problems with elbows. I don't know why. Alright, that's a little better. And then arm-wise, it's fine. Okay, alright. Just making sure it wasn't too weird. So, let's go ahead and save this dude. So, file, save, tiefling barkeep. And then let me go ahead and export as an STL, tiefling barkeep.stl. Let's go ahead and do a quick render. Let's see how he looks. Pretty sure he'll look fine. So, rendered. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let me just fix the lighting a little bit though. Looks a little strange. So, I think it'd be better if the light was like directly above him, or maybe just a little bit ahead. Just because, you know, it's inside a bar, right? Alright, let's try that again. Rendered. It'll probably look fine now. Yeah, it's fine. The tiefling barkeep. I dig it. Maybe the light should be a little more forward. Yeah, just a little bit. A little more forward, then maybe make it just a little bit brighter. Like 50. And let's try that again. Happy barkeep. Here's a happy barkeep. That's a little better. Alrighty. I dig it. So, that's the first model of the day. Slight remix of an older model, but still, you know, fits, I think, what Patron wanted. So, let's go ahead and save that bad boy. So, miniatures, Appendix B, Commoner, and then Tiefling Barkeep. Okay. I'm pretty satisfied with this. I thought this came out pretty good. Oh, my back. Ugh. Oh. Alright. Now let's go ahead and do some administrative stuff. I need to make sure that the file is actually printable. So first, let's go ahead and go to new scene, open, load object, and go to Appendix B, Commoner, and then Tiefling Barkeep, and import. Okay, yep, there are some errors, obviously. Blender does not make perfect files for printing. Sometimes you have to edit things or fix some minor errors. Okay. And it looks like he's good to go now, so save. And there you go. So, I'm going to go ahead and post this file online. I'm going to make sure that my patrons can grab it from the share drive. So let me do that real fast. But also, I will make it available on Shapeways so people can download it and do what they got to do. Let's see. So let's see. All right, and obviously a Tiefling Barkeep is not exactly the intellectual property of you know, anybody. So I think I'll go ahead and put this in the commercial ready drive. So if any of my patrons who pay that extra to, you know, to sell stuff on their own, just so that if they want, they can go ahead and sell this model as well. For, you know, printing minis in your own little shop fronts or animating the files for whatever you want. I don't care. It's not a thing. I don't know why that's open. So you are more than welcome to sell away because it's a Tiefling Barkeep. It's not anybody's intellectual property. Alright, so let me go ahead and move this into the new files in January folder. And Appendix B, Commoner. Okay. I'm going to load this file up on Shapeways so people can order a print if they want, or download it, print it themselves. It's all good. It is all good. Anyway, so while I'm doing this, obviously this is the administrative stuff when I put the file online, rather dull stuff. So if you got any questions or comments, go ahead and send them my way while I do this stuff. If you have any questions on 3D printing, 3D modeling, Dungeons and Dragons, you know, whatever. It's all good. I'll answer your questions while I'm waiting for this stuff to load up. Oh, I got a question. It says here, hey Miguel, did you saw the FDG minis printable without support? The FDG minis printable without support. FDG. I guess I haven't. I don't know what that is. It's pretty great though when you don't need supports. Oh, Fat Dragon Games. Sure. I'm sure I've seen a couple of them. I mean, you know, I think those guys charge you for their files though, so I'm probably never gonna actually print any of those. But you know, they make nice models. You know, it's pretty good stuff. They're pretty high quality things, so you know, obviously you're gonna get your money's worth. But no, that's not really my thing. I don't really print other people's files unless I absolutely need something that I definitely did not make. But they do make really good stuff. So, you know, I think I'm following them on Facebook. So, yeah, good for them. It's very rare when I make a model that doesn't need supports because the things I create are a little more dynamic. I also don't make terrain, so, you know, it's what it is. But yeah, good for them. I remember I used to post things on DriveThruRPG before I figured out how Shapeways worked and how Patreon worked, and I did postings here and there on that place, and I actually still have stuff there. I just don't even touch it anymore. But I know that Fat Dragon Games is like all over that website, DriveThruRPG. So if you guys want to go over there and give them some love, they do make some pretty good files. You'll have to pay for them, but they are good stuff. So definitely worth checking out. Barkeep, bartender, D&D. Anyway, but yeah, good for them. I think that's enough tags. Anyway, smooth, fine detail, and I guess $20 is probably enough. But the download is free. Let me grab an image, Tiefling Barkeep. Okay, save changes. Any other questions before I move on to the next thing? Because I am very much ready. Still prefer your style of modeling. Oh, thanks. Well, I still prefer your style of commenting. Kidding. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody has different styles. Like, I try to go for as anatomically close to reality as possible. Here he is. If this works, I will print him today. And send. Alright, so what is my next Patreon request? Alright, so that was that guy. So Richard Baylock. Let's see. Okay, I've been fretting this for a while. I settled on waiting for Elation from Witcher 3. Big old woody tree monster with elk skull on the head. Okay, so obviously Witcher Leshy from Witcher. Wow, that looks really cool. So here's the thing. This is the intellectual property of the company who made the Witcher series. So I'm gonna make a variant of this guy, but I cannot say that this is actually Leshen because I don't want to get sued. I never played this game. I really should play it. I heard it's really good. Anyway, why are bartenders always fat? I don't know. I guess it's just because they're more huggable that way. Anyway, so this is, like I said, the intellectual property of somebody else, so I can't make an exact copy of this, but I will make something close, and, you know, we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and pull up this image on my phone. And then I'm going to go ahead and make something that kind of looks like him. Kind of. Alrighty. It's like a weird tree dude. It's kind of interesting. Alright, so let's go close this and let's make ourselves, let's make some fan art, shall we? So, Really? Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Drimzord says that it's based off of common folklore, and I wouldn't actually get sued for making something like that. Well, alright. So I'm gonna call him... I'm gonna give him a different name. I'm going to call him a... I'm gonna call him the Blight King. There you go. And I'm gonna go ahead and call it that. So let's go ahead and start working on this dude, shall we? So file, so save. Let's go ahead and open my basics folder and go to the new body rigged. And we're gonna turn this guy into the Blight King. Yeah. European folklore, I believe Northern Europe. Cool. Alrighty, thank you. I will keep that in mind. It's a pretty cool model, just in general, I think. Yeah, I like it. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and work on this dude, shall we? So first let's pick a pose. So the pose that I'm envisioning, maybe something a little neutral, maybe something that could be printed on its back. You know, I think I might actually use my mirror tool for this guy, just because this is going to be a little basic. Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure The Witcher is going to be a pretty good file or source for a lot of really cool material, but obviously I'm not going to make anything exact because I don't want to get sued. So let's go ahead and save this dude. And we're going to go and we're going to save him. And we're going to save him as, actually maybe instead of Blight, instead I'll save him as something a little more neutral. I'm going to say the Dryad King. That's what I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him the Dryad King. So that's what I'm going to call him. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and... So let me go ahead and pose this guy. I'm going to do some variants on each one. So, his legs, I think I'll bring in just a little bit. And I'm going to do the classic Chiaroscuro pose. So, one leg is going to be slightly forward, one leg is going to be slightly to the rear, just a little bit. The hips, obviously, this leg one's going to be pointed that way, and then just a little bit to the like that. And this leg does not look right. This leg never looks right. Go ahead and fix that real fast. And this leg will go out. And we'll go like that. And I'm gonna say that he is not completely hunched over, but not like straight back either. And I'm gonna say that this arm is gonna be to the side, but not like, you know, just kind of hanging there. Or maybe hanging, fuck it, why not? Okay, and go ahead and maybe move this arm forward just a little bit, and maybe this one back just a little bit. I'm not trying to say he's walking, I'm just saying it's not just a typical solidified pose. And then I'm gonna say his head is gonna be looking off in this direction. You know, just like that. Cool. Alright, so that was the hard part. By the way, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of need some coffee, man. I'm dying here. Oh yeah, look at that. Cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing that art information, Drimzord. Yeah, so it's a pretty common thing. It's nothing new. So, yeah. Okay. Anyway, let me save this dude. File. And then apply. And then keep transform. And then we're going to get rid of the skeleton because we don't need it. This guy is already going to be kind of tall. But I'm okay with that. I'll bring it down just a smidge, but nothing too crazy. Anyway, let me get the medium-sized creature thing. Basics, medium-sized creature. Maybe it should be a large creature. Nah, medium-sized. Simple. Save. Alrighty. And let's go ahead and start working on some details now that we got that stuff down. So I'm going to go from the bottom up. Alright, so his feet are going to look like roots. So let's go ahead and start mixing things up around here. Let's see, first, is his proportions okay? I would say yes. I like the idea of him being a little lanky, a little tall. So we're going to be okay with that. So let's go ahead and add some rootage game to him. So first things first, let's go ahead and increase the width of his legs. Let's go ahead and basically add a little meat, if you will. They'll almost look like stumps. Just realized proportions are a little off here. I might need to fix that real fast. So let me go ahead and go back. Yeah, I just realized his, might have to bring his knees up just a little bit. So let me do that real fast. Okay, increase the size. Alright, that should be better. Hey, where was I? Okay, so let's go ahead and make this look like root structure. So first things first, move this forward just a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get rid of this foot completely. And instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make this look like two big vines that are coming out to look like it's his foot. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then one foot is gonna look like this. So smooth vertex, smooth. Maybe it was a little too much. Should be fine. Anyway. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of a curvature in here, like so. And then a little bit of a curvature out there. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Let me add a subdiv now so I have a preview of what I'm looking at. Alright. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Basically just bring it down. And maybe space it out just a smidge. And then go ahead right there. And I'm gonna space that out right there. Do the same right here. Okay. So far so good. And then I'm gonna do something weird and I'm gonna like add like a little bit of a vinage situation on this foot right back here. Let's get a little crazy. And okay. Then we're gonna go ahead and do the same on this foot. This foot's gonna be more solidified, I think. I like the idea of maybe, I don't know. Second thought, I like the idea of this actually being like just a little bit of variance to this one right here. Like a little more solid than the other foot, but still different, not natural looking. I mean, like natural looking, but you know what I mean, not human looking. Okay, and then I'm gonna throw in some root structure. It's gonna be coming out of this foot right here, like so. And then just like right there, and then like right there. And I'll do the same thing over here. That's gonna look down. Do the same over here. And the same thing over here. Like I said, trying to make it look like roots. Okay. Cool. Alright, so then we're going to go ahead and kind of size these up a little. Actually, I'm going to make the feet much bigger because it's going to be a lot of mass needed to make sure that this guy stands upright. So make his feet just slightly bigger. Bring it up just a smidge. Okay. Next is his legs. So I'm going to add some mass, obviously. It's a little bit of mass, not like completely skinny looking thing. Okay. Make his legs just a little bit thicker. It's already very tall, lanky looking thing, but that's all good. Okay, now before I get into the woody details of this guy, I probably should make the main bits of his geometry first before I go any further. So let's go ahead and add some nice little rope belt, if you will, to his center line. So I'll go over here, and we'll go ahead and make this, you know, somewhat even. Oh, I got a question. The question is, hi, question for you. When printing with PVA soluble material, I get often a mid-print issue, either clog, glare, or stacking. Would you have advice on calibration, FYI? I really like your D&D figurine model. Okay. I've never used PVA or soluble material, so I'm very sorry to tell you this, but I really have no idea. I have no tips on that. I'm sorry. I actually don't even know what that is. Sorry. It's not very helpful, I guess. Is that like, I don't know, is that like PLA or ABS? I have no idea what that means. Sorry. Yeah. Is that like resin or? No, I have no idea. It's for support material. Huh. Yeah, no, I have no idea. I can't say I've ever dealt with that before. I'm sorry. Yeah, the only material that I've ever worked with has been pla and resin. That's it. That's all I know. Everything else is kind of a mystery. Some figurines I found hard to print with tree support or generic support are hard to remove. So I print with material, with solid material. So you just put the figurine in hot water and dissolves in support. I print the figurine in pla as well. Wow. So you must have like a double extrusion situation going on then. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, I don't have double extrusion. I just got good old-fashioned regular single extrusion going on. It's nothing crazy, but you know, gets the job done. So, yeah, that's it's quite a brilliant idea, actually. The idea of the materials being made of completely different, or the supports being made of completely different materials. That's just brilliant. I love that idea. Because yeah, like it would make life so much easier for when we want to remove supports and such, So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I wish I could do that. Okay, so that's the basic geometry of his cloth thing. Let's go ahead and start working on the belt itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and select this and go downward and open it up. Select this, go upward. Go upward and close it up like that. And that's gonna become a belt structure very soon. Or right now? Why not? Oh wait, to the wrong. And then obviously I can't have this just looking like that, so I need to bring some variance into this thing because it's a little uniform right now. So squeeze that down like that. Do the same over here. Then I'm going to go ahead and mix things up here. Yeah, a lot of things in 3D printing is just experimentation and just trying to figure out the right, settings and just about everything. So yeah, that's probably what it comes down to. Just experimenting for a little bit. Yeah. You'll get there. Alrighty. Anyway. So let's go ahead and start working on his big, mean looking claws. So let's go ahead and do that. So first things first. So to Cold Beer 666, if you want, I did make a tutorial or a collection of tutorials on YouTube where I explain in depth and in great detail my modeling process. So if you want to hop on over to YouTube and look me up, I posted some things that should be of some use to you. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, let's continue. So let's go ahead and make some big mean looking claws. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on one hand, and then I'm just going to transfer the work over to the other hand. Same over here, just make big mean looking claws. Definitely need some coffee. I know I've been saying that for like the past half hour, and I just never get up and do it. Tell you what, after I finish this hand, if it's okay with you guys, I'm gonna step away, make myself a cup, and then I'll be right back, if that's alright. And if it isn't, well, then don't watch. But yeah, I just want to step away, just to get myself a cup of joe real fast. I mean, first I need to boil the water, obviously, but you know what I mean. Okay, it's a pretty mean looking hand. Let's go ahead and grow this thing out. And let's go to bounding center. And extrude out. That looks pretty good. This would be a pain in the butt to print in FDM though. So what I recommend is actually printing him on his back. And I'm gonna do my best to make sure that this is actually very easily printable on his back. So like all the horns and stuff are gonna be facing forward and things like that. So, yeah. And the other option I could do is I could just position his arms with everything looking forward, but I don't know, I kind of like the idea of his hands looking down. I just think it would look really cool, you know? So it's just my idea. My opinion. Whatever. Alrighty. Okay, pretty cool looking hand. Let's add some wooden bits to him, which is not going to be that hard to pull off. It's just a simple case of extrusion and then retrusion. Okay, so far so good. I actually made a very similar file to this not too long ago. Not this exact like beast, but like the wooden structure. It was a wood golem that I made. I thought it came out pretty good. That was a while ago. Okay. I dig it. So far so good. Let me go ahead and do that to the other hand. But, like I said, I would like to just take a couple of minutes to make some coffee for myself. So, if you can just give me a moment, I'll be right back. Let me just go ahead and set an away message. Went to get coffee. Be back soon. Smiley face. Alright. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna make some coffee. Okay, I'm back. So, where were we? So, let me look up this image again of this dude, because I closed it while I was looking at Reddit for a little bit. There he is. Alrighty, so I got me some nice, delicious, boozy coffee going on, so should look pretty good. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to this silliness. So we're going to copy this hand that I worked on, and we're going to move it over to the other hand, to the other side of the body. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this, and I'm going to go ahead and press duplicate, and I'm going to manually move it over. I'm going to get rid of the existing hand, and then I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So let's go ahead and do this real fast. And then like that. -1, dude. Control N, and then let's start moving this bad guy in here. So, as I stated before, this is not going to be an easy print if you were to print it as is. You would have to print it on its back, because the hands are the way they're positioned. So just keep that in mind when the time comes. Okay, so let's go ahead and make some changes to the geometry. So let me go ahead and add a little bit of variance. Just a little bit of variance. Good morning, kitty. One of my cats is rubbing up against my leg, and it's very, very cute. Okay. So, let's continue working on this guy, shall we? Alright, so the next thing that needs to be done is... So I'm going to get rid of this head completely, but that means I need to make something completely new, too. So, two things that need to be done. First, I need to get rid of the skull. And then I need to create the brand new deer skull thing. It is very, very tempting to maybe grab some skull, like a deer skull from, say, what do you call it? From Thingiverse. Problem is that I guarantee that the geometry of those things is probably so severe that I could not possibly use it for a model of this nature. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically make something from scratch. So to pull that off, oh, I have a comment, and the comment is, are you doing this for a living or it's a hobby? Well, normally it's a hobby, but because of the government shutdown, I am actually doing this for a living. So, not exactly best situation that I'm in right now, but these are things I don't have control over, so there you go. So, let's import this organic base spear, and let's go ahead and build ourselves a deer head, shall we? So, Alt-J. Yeah, under normal circumstances, this would just be me doing hobby work, but because of the shutdown, I am currently furloughed, so I'm kind of stuck. Hey mate, thanks for the work. Just received today my photon resin printer. I'm going to Patron you today too. Ooh, thank you. Well, thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. It's received very, very positive support from Twitter and pretty much the gaming community in general for my work with the recent shutdown and all. So it's been nice. So yeah, I appreciate it. I really do. Have you tried a SLA 3D printer? Yes, I actually own a SLA 3D printer. It is a Noble 1A. It is okay. It's not perfect. It's got its bugs, but it does get the job done, and you know, it's okay. I've had some issues with it initially. I'm trying to figure out the best way to set up the prints and all that, and you know, sometimes the thing just won't even work. You know, it's just things would just not stick. It's been kind of a pain. I've had some growing pains, but as of recent, it's been doing pretty good. So you know, these things happen, but I'm learning. I do print my smaller prints with my Noble 1A, and then for my bigger prints, I use a Prusa, which is a FDM printer. So yeah, I've definitely used SLA, and you know, it's been fine. So let's go ahead and make this guy's eyes now. So geometry and some geometry right there. Then go ahead and hope you guys are okay with the music. I just wanted to like add a little zen to this whole thing, so that's what I've been doing. Yeah, SLA printing, you definitely can get much higher detail value out of it. It's pretty good stuff. Oh, apparently I'm being hosted. That's kind of cool. Hello, everybody that's watching. For those of you who are tuning in right now, I'm currently modeling a Dryad King. So it is a loosely based off of the Lisha character from the Witcher games, and you know, just making some art happen. So we'll see how this comes out. Okay, so that's pretty basic basic geometry that I got going on here for this dude. So far so good. Let's go ahead and do some pre-extrusion. That's right, kitty. My cat has some serious cat opinions. Alrighty, let's go ahead and make ourselves a. Let's go ahead and make ourselves. Well, I guess he does need like some teeth over here, right? I mean, we're not getting so detailed that, you know, I'm gonna make the full skull setup, but I figure I should at least have an inkling of some of the teeth back here. Nothing too crazy, just, you know, just enough for it to be like, oh look, if you can look real closely, you can see some teeth. That honestly should be more than enough. Smooth. Yeah, I don't want to get too crazy in this detail because I know that I'm not going to see it when I print the thing. That should be enough. So what I'm modeling right now, Lord of Feet, is a Dryad King, which is kind of loosely based off of the Lisha character from the Witcher games. Dryad King, the king of the Dryads. And did you learn alone working with Blender? No, I actually got a degree in 3D modeling about 10 years ago, but taught myself again about 4 years ago, but you know, after using Maya for many years and then just switching over to Blender. And SLA is better than resin. I think SLA is just another word for a form of resin printing, so it's so not really. It's the same thing. Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and start making the horns on this guy now, shall we? So let's go ahead and do that real fast, and then we'll go ahead and start working on other details. So let's just do that. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay. Now let's go ahead and start extruding outward. I'm gonna go for, alright, so first things first, let me extrude, extrude, and extrude, extrude, and then extrude, like so. Okay, I got a question here. Hey, can't stay and watch today, but wanted to poke my head and say you rock and your work is awesome. Well, thank you. Much appreciated. Well, I think you rock too for saying that, so thanks. Oh, I have a new patron. I need to say hello real fast. Let me just send a personal message real fast, just saying hello. Well, actually, it can still be printed in FDM. It's just you have to print it on its back, and you have to make sure your supports are a nice balance of thick and thin. Thick meaning, you know, that's enough to cover all areas, but loose enough so that way they can be removed. So it can be done. And like I said, I'm gonna make sure that I make this as FDM friendly as possible when I finish the final details, but you'll see what I mean when I'm done with it. It won't be perfect, but it can be done. And you'll see what I mean, like I said, when I finish working on this guy. Yeah, I once printed an elk with the full head and everything, the full head horns, and if I can do that with FDM with my printer bot simple metal, I'm sure people can pull it off now with the more advanced stuff that's out there. So it can be done. I know. It can be difficult, but, you know, you just gotta make sure that your the support game is strong. Like I said, I've done it before. I just, you know, just gotta make sure that you're able to remove them real quickly. So what I'm gonna do is, when I print this guy, when I make this guy, when I finalize this character, I'm gonna make sure that, like the antlers are thickish, so that way it can still be pulled off. It can still be printed pretty well. So we'll see. If I remember correctly, like one major important factor that you need to consider when you're printing things like this on FDM is you got to make sure that you're printing slow. I know that that's definitely a very important feature that you need to make sure that you do. So make sure you print slow. That's one thing. And the other thing is, yeah, just make sure your angling is right. So I think it could be done. I mean, I know it could be done. Like I said, I printed an elk. 2 elks, actually. Yeah, I thought that they came out pretty good. No, okay. Well, alright. That's yours. That's what you say. But, you know, obviously my experience was different when I printed my thing. Anyway, I'm gonna do my best to try to make this as FDM friendly as I can. Oops. Okay. So let's go ahead and shrink this guy's head down, and then we'll work on the other details. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're awesome. Alright, so let's get rid of this guy's head now. We don't really need it anymore. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And then we're going to go ahead and connect this model to this one. So join. Oop. Oops. Almost forgot about the mirror. Okay. Now let's go ahead and join. So let's go ahead and now connect these two models together. So first things first, I want to select this geometry right here. Go out, delete faces, and then mesh, edges, bridge edge loops, and then smooth vertex. Alright. Yeah, I noticed that I think I made his eyes a little too big. Obviously it's a little late now for doing the mirror thing, but I can still work on some other details manually. Anyway. Cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue working on some of these details. So you know, I just realized something. I think there's a side part of the deer skull side view. Oh yeah, that's right. There is there's a hole that goes right there. Let me do that real fast. Oops. I could just select this geometry and do this actually. So just there you go. Something over here. Easy peasy. Alright. Cool. Hey, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I probably shouldn't get sucked into delving too deep into the details of this thing because I know for a fact that I'm going to cover half of this guy with, you know, cloth. So let me not get too tempted by delving into the weeds. So I'm gonna stop real soon on this silliness. Okay. Let me just grab this geometry for the teeth and bring it up slightly, and then that's gonna be it. Because again, like I said, this is a model that is gonna, you know, it's gonna be, like I said, a lot of this is gonna be covered in cloth, so I don't want to get too crazy. Oh, I got a new patron. Let me go and say hello again. Alright, so far so good. Alright, so I need to now go ahead and make some cloth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna build off of what's here, and I'm gonna bring it down and drape it around his entire body. But I'm also going to combine that with existing geometry down here. So to pull that off, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, I'm going to extrude up, size out, grab this, extrude out, and then down. So that way I get that base cloth that covers his body, or the top of his chest anyway. Then I'm going to grab this, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to global, and then I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, and it's basically going to wrap around his body like so. Do the same thing over here until it starts to see some variance. Cool. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab this geometry right here, and then I'm going to grab this geometry on line mode right over here. And then I'm going to bring it out. And then I'm going to go and actually I changed my mind. Instead I'm going to grab this geometry and I'm going to bring it up around his head. So let's go ahead and do that. So up, in, up, in, up, down. I need to do some rotating, so that, out, that, out, and then going in, going slow, and then up, in, and then up, in, and then I'm gonna start doing some rotation work, like so. And then this is gonna be brought in like that, squeezed in, and then, oops, sorry, that was weird. And then I'm gonna go over here, paste. Let's see, actually, make sure this isn't too uniform, so let me just squeeze in just a little bit right there. Bring it in. Same thing over here. Squeeze. And bring it in. Because it needs to look a little natural. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring this out. Okay, and then the last bit is I'm going to grab this geometry right here. It's going to go up, inward, and then I'm just going to grab this, and it's going to look like it's draping over his head slightly, like so. Okay, and there you go. And now it looks like it's a part of the look. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, we do have cookies, and they're quite good. Okay, sorry, my phone is buzzing. It's nothing though, it's just my mom still asking more questions about the shutdown. So, sorry Mom, there's not much more I can tell you. Anyway, alright, so let's continue, shall we? Okay, so far so good. It's looking pretty solid. So let's go ahead and start working on this cloth detail a little more. So I'm just gonna bring all this in, so that way it's somewhat uniform, but also easier to manage when it comes to printing. So we're just gonna do this. Okie dokie. Now we're gonna go ahead and extrude outward one more time. And then downward. And that should be enough. This is actually a little too forward. Might want to bring that down. Same thing for you. Don't want it to get, I want it to be thick, not too thick. It's kind of like something like cloth. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Now let's go ahead and start working on some details. So, first things first, let's start with the cloth. Now, I need to obviously add a lot more geometry than this. But I don't want to risk ruining any of the other work in the entire model. So let's go ahead and see how far I can get. Okay, so that's obviously not acceptable. So let me bring this in right here. And then let me add another layer right there. And then I'm going to elect that. And I'm going to subdivide. Let's see. Cool. Alright, so now I can work a little bit with this. So first things first, I'm going to go across this way. And I'm going to do the same thing there, and one there, and some there. And this is going to be the cloth detail on this side. So let me go ahead and select this. Then I'm going to press randomize, and I'm going to add a little bit of variance. So that looks like some cloth, so pretty cool. I'm gonna grab this and I'm just gonna move it out just a little bit. Alright, that looks pretty good. And then, oh, I got some questions here. It's still 15:15 p.m. Hello. Nice. So, So now what we're doing is we're basically working on the little bits of detail here and there until I can say that I'm satisfied with this model. So I'm just gonna keep tweaking this guy until he's ready. Anyway, so let's go ahead and continue to do some extrusion work. So I'm just gonna do this here. Do some of this right here, and just adding some cloth. Oopsie doodle. So after this, I'm gonna go and make myself some food, and then I'm gonna do some painting for a couple of hours. Nothing too crazy, just just get some side projects done that I need to finish. So I'm gonna be doing that. But yeah. Ooh. Sorry about that. That was weird. else? Nah, no, I'm not. So far, it's looking pretty good. Alright. So far, so good. Let me smooth that out real fast. And then let me go ahead and grab all this and extrude individual. And then I'm going to select all the geometry that I just created, and I'm going to go to Crazy Town with so smooth vertex. No, smooth vertex. Smooth vertex, randomize. Let's go ahead and bring that in there. Okay. Alright. Pretty satisfied with the top of his head. Yeah. Go to blob and bring this in right. Okay, so far so good. It's looking pretty smooth. Let's go ahead and add some more woody details. So body-wise, I think I'm going to go ahead and pants right here. And this is going to go inside to show off a bit of a cavity. Nothing too crazy. This will go out just a little bit, and this will go out just a little bit. And this will go out here, and this will go there. Then I'm going to go ahead and... you know what? He's going to have some abs. Because everybody likes abs. Okay. And then let's go ahead and add some mass. Okay. Then the next thing that needs to happen is we need to add some variance to his cloth. So let's go ahead and do that real fast. Okay, first things first, this can't be at this level of subdivision, so let's go ahead and creep in here. Select that, then select that. It's actually just gonna go in here, bring this down, then subdivide. Then I'm gonna do the same thing in the legs in here, because I don't want this unnecessary geometry to be going all the way in there. Then we're just gonna add some detail to the cloth. Do the same over here. Same over here. Same over here. As you can see, I have a pattern going on. Okay. So far, so good. Alrighty. Cool. Alrighty. Next up is his legs. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the wood pattern thing again, where I basically extrude out, and then out, and then go ahead and do that real fast. And then same thing over here. Okay, so far so good. I'm taking it, I'm taking it, I'm taking it. Okay. I am so far digging how this guy looks. Yeah, I think he's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I think this will look pretty good for this. Now, to pull off the FDM print, what I'm gonna recommend is printing his head. Oh, you know what? If I just turn his head just slightly to the left, just slightly, that will make life easier for everybody when they try to print this FDM-wise. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna print this guy on his back, and if he's looking, if it's too difficult, if you print him on his back, if it's too much of an angle, it'll have a hard time with this FDM printers when it comes to support. So I think right there is probably a pretty good amount. And it looks like I missed some geometry when I was moving the head. Oh, doesn't matter. Okay, cool. Alright. Let's I think this is a pretty good place. Pretty good place to be right here. So, there you go. I'm actually just gonna mess with the head just for a little bit. Alright, that was bugging me. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with this guy. I think this is a pretty good place to be. I think that the if you're gonna be printing this with resin or with plot or with SLA, I think you should be okay. With SLA, obviously you can print it as is and you should be fine. With SLA, with FDM, I recommend printing him on his back and then just going from there. And then, yeah, should be fine. So I'm just going to do a couple more minor details to his body just to see what happens when I do this. Ooh, that came out really good. I like that effect. I think I might do that to his whole body. In SLA, you could print him on his back if you want, but you wouldn't have that much of a difficulty printing this on his back as is. So if a SLA printer, you can print this as is, and it should come out okay. So there you go. Yeah, that was just an experiment. I wanted to see what would have happened. Alright, looks pretty good. Yeah, I like this effect. I think it looks really nice. However, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo that real fast. And I'm gonna get rid of. Honestly, I don't think it's really necessary. I can just leave that as is. I think it's fine. All right, so I usually, when it comes to slaw, I usually use the organic printers programs that come with it. For instance, I use a Noble 1A, and it has its own XYZ program. So I usually go with the support state auto generates from that. I don't know what printer you're using, so I couldn't tell you what's the best way to go about it. But I use the stuff the printer that came with or the program that came with this printer, the organic program. And it's been working just fine. So yeah, it's been working pretty much okay for me. Alright, let's see how this bad boy looks. Alright, nice. Okay. I just realized a small detail, just a small detail, but the opening of his snout, if you will, is actually a little too wide. That needs to be thinned out just slightly. Okay. Cool. Okay. There he is. The Photon and the Cubic. That's a very good printer. I don't know what program you use to make your supports, though. But I've only heard good things about that printer, so I'm pretty confident you can pull this off. So, yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, I'm pretty satisfied with how this guy came out. I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture, and I'll send it to the patron. And then to print this, like I said, print it on its back if you are doing this with FDM. If you're doing this with SLA, it should be fine as is, but it wouldn't hurt to print it on its back either, so, you know, it's up to you. Okay, so miniatures, and then Dryad, and then I'm gonna write down Dryad King. Dryad King. Okay. So file, export, STL, Dryad King, .stl. Okay, guys. So this is gonna be another. Yeah. It has its own slicer, so you use that program. I'm hoping it has auto supports, but I can't answer that obviously. Like I will. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. So miniatures, Dryad King, import. Oh, no errors. Nice. Okay, cool. That makes me happy. Alrighty, so time to load this file online. So I'm gonna put this up for my patrons to grab. Given that it looks a little too much like the intellectual property of that game, Witcher, I'm not gonna make this a for sale thing. I'm just gonna put the file up for download and then leave it at that. And actually, I might as well just use it on Thingiverse then, since I'm not gonna be, you know, it's whatever. It's just gonna be a generic thing. So I'll just do that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and create this thing, upload my computer, and then go to Dryad King. Dryad King, okay, open I think I'm gonna stop right here for now. I'm going to take a break to make some food, and then I'm gonna go and do some painting for a little bit. So this is probably where I'm gonna like stop for now, and then I will return to this later today. Probably later in the afternoon, probably around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, around there. So, Dryad, and then you know, just see what happens. So yeah. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm just loading up this file, so that way people can download it and such and so forth, and also let the patron know, hey, your thing's ready, and hopefully they'll like it, and we'll go from there. So we'll see what happens. Oh, yay, thank you. You're doing my patron right now? Oh, okay, cool. Light, tree, monster, D&D. Anyway. Okay, new, and I made this with Blender, and tags. Alright, and there it is. Publish thing. Alright, I need to go and message the patron and let him know that this file is done, and then I'll go from there. But anyway, so this was fun. I think this is gonna be it for now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let me put this on the share drive, so that way my my patrons can have access to it, obviously. But I think we'll call it here for now. So thank you very much for being here today. So like I said, I should be back later in the afternoon. I figure around around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock-ish. We'll see. Depends on how my day looks, obviously. I do have other things I need to take care of. But I think that's that. So, thank you for your time. And thank you for stopping by while I deal with this whole government shutdown situation, and, you know, just use this as my primary source of passing my time while waiting for things to get worked out. But it was a pleasure being here with y'all. So, I hope you guys have a good day. And I shall be back, like I said, later in the afternoon. And yeah, you're welcome. And I think that's it. So I will talk to you guys very soon. You guys have a great, yay, thank you. I'll send you the information. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.